We've been together for 3 years and plan to move in together when she finished school this year. We have a routine that after I finish work, we'll grab some food and go to a spot in the woods that overlooks a river. There we talk about our day and eat our food. We do this about twice a week. It's about a 20-minute drive from her place and about a 2-hour walk through the woods. We were talking last week and she started crying out of nowhere, telling me how much she loved me. I went to hug her and she pushed me away and told me that she'd been cheating. It was with a guy in her class who's also part of her friend group, and they routinely go out together. I never join them as drinking and clubbing isn't my scene, but I've met them all a few times. The guy has always been a bit of an idiot and has tried to start a fight with me once when I picked her up, and they were intoxicated, so it all makes sense. She said it had happened multiple times, they were intoxicated mistakes, she didn't mean it, etc. She went through all the tropes, and honestly, I sort of zoned out as I instantly lost all respect and love for her. I don't know how long she talked for, maybe 10 minutes, but she grabbed my hands a few times. I just had enough, told her we were over and went to leave. She went to grab the door and I told her not to touch my car. I told her there were plenty of signals she'd been charging her phone in the car and that she could call her new boyfriend to pick her up. She cried even more, but I just didn't care. I drove home, blocked her on everything and dealt with everything my way. A few of her friends texted me with some insults and such. One said I should be ashamed as it took her 3 hours to walk home and it wasn't safe. It was a warm evening, the sun didn't set until 10 p.m. and I left when it was around 6 p.m. She could have called someone to pick her up. Why is it my responsibility to help someone who broke my trust? Am I the idiot for leaving my ex at the side of the road after she confessed to cheating? The same intoxicated mistake multiple times? If you're going to admit to cheating, then it wasn't the best place to do it. She didn't think that one through, and she didn't call her new boyfriend because he ditched her. Not the idiot. This is probably the only instance where you wouldn't get a fine for leaving trash on the side of the road. Damn, as accurate as Robin Hood's arrow. Did she honestly think OP was going to chauffeur her home and walk her to her door after she slept with someone else multiple times? No, love. The new boyfriend ditched her. This is why she was apologetic, trying to get the pardon before even the discovery of the crime. It was the last dude. I don't buy the idea that she wasn't safe. I'm so sick of this "you need to be scared of your shadow" BS mentality. Yes, I'm a woman. Yes, bad things happen, but I have to live my life. That means sometimes I'm going to gasp, walk by myself, and you know what? I'll probably be fine. I'll probably be safer than if I was in a car, statistically. But no, apparently because I have breasts, I must be too afraid to walk places. Give me a break. Plenty of women walk, and we're just fine. Oh, she didn't walk for that long, lol, it's what she's saying, but nah, she had friends, family and the Uber to pick her up. I doubt anyone was ready to do it. She has to live with the consequences. I have no respect for cheaters. Block her friends, OP, and let your friends know in case they try to use their own narrative against you. My sister-in-law, wife's sister, is expecting her first child with her husband. For the last 4.5 months of her pregnancy, he has been insufferable. Sister-in-law and he are no closer to finding a name for their baby, and he uses the pregnancy and the fact they are actively still naming their baby to crap on gender-bending names. Boy names on girls and girl names on boys. His name is Skylar, and he talks about how cruel his parents were for giving him such a girly name, a name meant for girls more than boys. He's ranted about people trying to call him Sky and how that's such a girl's name. He rants and raves and regularly brings up the fact that men should not have androgynous or girly names. Yet so many people think naming a boy Riley today is fine or naming a boy Sage makes sense. He said it's wrong. He talked about meeting a young boy named Ren and how his parents had cursed him to forever be mistaken for a girl when they heard the name. He said no man or boy likes those names. No man or boy wants to be called those names. As a male indigo who goes by Indy in daily life, including at work and school and college when I went, I disagree that every guy feels this way. I don't. I also know a guy named Kenzie from school who never had a problem with his name. I know a guy named Sonny who hated his name because he thought it was too girly. So it balances out. But my wife's brother-in-law is adamant that every man and boy with any name that gets used on girls too is disgusted by it and hates it. He will not let it go. This came up again on Saturday when we went out to lunch. He was being loud and doing his same old rant as always. This time I spoke up and told him he can't speak for all guys with gender-bending names because we don't all hate our names, and he can look to me as an example if he wants. I also pointed to a guy he follows on social media who technically has a gender-bending name. I told him they might not be his thing, and that's fine. Nobody can force him to like those names, but he's wrong to speak in absolutes about it like he does. He acted like I'd personally demanded he name his son Ella or something. He called me an idiot and told me I couldn't force my opinion down his throat like that. His wife told him to shut up and listen to what I actually said, but he told me I'd humiliated him and told him he was wrong to have his opinions, and that makes me the idiot. Should I have simply left the topic alone? You can't force your opinion down my throat while I've spent 4.5 months trying to force my opinion down your throat. Your brother-in-law screams into the night, absolutely humiliated by his own petard. Not the idiot from a woman with what's technically a boy's name and just fine with it. He's obviously in a set headspace. Your opinion won't change it or have an impact. To some people, gender-neutral names are on par with names that can be reduced to nicknames. Our youngest is Danny. Many people assume his name is Daniel and call him that. No, he's purely Danny on his birth certificate. My husband is from Belgium with the name Jan. Being in Australia, you can bet your bottom dollar people assume I'm a lesbian as they see it written as Jan until I explain it's pronounced Jan and he's a 6'7" bloke. I don't think OP wants to change his mind. I think he wants him to shut up. I've had a hard time not laughing at his little tantrum. Damn, the amount of energy he's dedicated to this is wild. If this is what he considers a big problem, he's lucky in life. It's telling that someone having a simple difference of opinion on this makes him feel humiliated. Yeah, just keep shutting him down. You're free to have your preferences, but you don't get to dictate how others feel about their own experience. We've all endured your rants long enough. We will not center your fragility. If he had such a problem, why hadn't he changed his own name? It sounds like he's just looking for an excuse to be an idiot. I've been playing with yo-yos all my life, since I was 5 probably. My uncle taught me how to use one. I've used them in talent shows. I've even been on TV news and on a show demonstrating tricks. I even work for a company that makes them on a demo team. I know. Women want me and men want to be me. My brother cannot use one to save his life. He can't understand the hand movements. That's fine, he has many good qualities. Unfortunately, forethought is not one of them. I have boxes of starter yo-yos. They're lightweight and easy to learn with. I also have a bunch of balls that have a self-retracting mechanism inside, so you can get used to the feel. I was showing off for the kids last weekend at a family birthday party. Everyone wanted one. I went to my garage and got a box of the freebies. My nephew kept looking at my Maplewood yo-yo. He wanted that one. I said no. He went crying to his dad, who went to our mom. She came stomping over with my idiot brother. She said that I had hundreds of yo-yos and that I could give one to my nephew. I said it was a bad idea. I explained that my yo-yos are set up for professional use. Ladies, please keep your panties and DMs to yourselves. She insisted and my brother started insulting me for playing with toys at my age. So I took my nephew and I gave him a ball and a starter yo-yo. I told him to start with the ball until he got the feel for it. Then the light plastic one. I told him only to use the fancy one after he was sure of himself. 10 damn minutes later, my sister-in-law is bringing him to the bathroom because he hit himself in the mouth. I couldn't help but laugh. My brother is angry because his wife is mad that he got his son a wooden morning star. My mother appears to have forgotten her part in this play because she's mad at me. My brother told me that I had to pay the dentist bill to get the rest of the baby tooth out. Am I the idiot for laughing when my nephew got hurt and knocked out a tooth with the toy my brother insisted that I give him? Not the idiot. You explained the risks, told the kid not to use the big one until he'd practiced, and told your brother not to give it to him because it was dangerous. He insisted he was the parent and had the ultimate decision-making power regarding giving his child something dangerous and then leaving him unsupervised with it. You did your best to teach your nephew how to start, but everyone else knew better, and look what happened. Bro messed around and found out at his kid's expense. I do feel bad for the kid, but it's important to learn that dad is sometimes a dingbat early on. I suspect the child had a better learning takeaway than the parents. I'm from a culture where if a child doesn't listen to a warning and goes on to fall or experience a small injury, the adults say something like, "That's how you'll learn." If they're older, they might get the equivalent of, "That's what you get for acting like a dum-dum." That was my grandparents. It was always, "I guess you won't do that next time," and they were usually right too. OP, you sound like a fun uncle to have. When he's a bit older, the kid will remember this with amusement. It sounds like he shares your passion. Maybe tell them that you're not going to pay for the dentist bill, but you'll babysit and give him some proper lessons so he can play safely. My husband, 38, and I, 37 female, have been married for 9 years and have 2 kids, a pre-tween and a young grammar schooler. He works a hybrid schedule, so he's home 2 to 3 days a week. I'm a nurse at an understaffed hospital. Due to that staffing shortage, I was offered to temporarily switch my work hours to the overnight shift. It came with a nice pay bump which could help us financially. My husband was very much against it because of the changes it would make to our day-to-day lives. I initially declined the offer, but they countered it with an even higher pay bump, so I took it. It's been 5 months since I changed my hours and my husband hates it. My hours are now 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. Monday to Thursday and midnight to 9 a.m. Sunday morning. I usually make it home just in time to see the kids off to school, run some errands, or get things done at home in the morning, then sleep until the kids' bedtime and head to work. I think I've gotten efficient at it since the change, but my husband disagrees. I won't lie, he has had to pick up a lot of kid-related things that we used to share. He takes care of pretty much any rides they need and any weekday activities. Now that the kids are done with school, we have them in a summer daycare program and he does all the drop-offs and pickups. Ever since the kids' school year ended, he's been complaining to me that this isn't working for him anymore. He keeps asking when I can switch my hours back. I told him that the original plan was 6 to 8 months, so it could be soon, but it's only been 5 months. If I'm being honest, I don't know if I want to switch back. I'm making and saving a lot more money. Once I adjusted to the sleep schedule, I felt like I had more energy and could get more stuff done when I got home from work. This past weekend, my husband practically begged me to ask my supervisor when I can switch my hours back. I finally told him that I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that. He flipped out on me. He told me this wasn't what he signed up for when we married. He told me he feels lied to because not only did I accept the offer without his final approval, but now I'm going back on my word that it would be temporary. He said that if I'm going to keep my current night shift, I need to do more things at home since I have the whole place to myself during the day. I asked him what more he thought I should do and he made a list. He put pretty much all the yard work on there, which is usually stuff he takes care of and that I don't know how to do. I told him I didn't know how to do all that stuff and he told me, if I can learn how to fold a fitted sheet, you can learn how to mow the lawn. I told him that doesn't seem like a fair division of labour. He told me that he's taken on all the kids' stuff, so I need to do more of everything else. I told him that doing manual labour after I worked all night wasn't going to work for me, and he told me to change my hours back then. Am I the idiot for not agreeing to my husband's new chore list? You are the idiot. LOL, of course you have more energy now. It sounds like all you do is sleep and work. Your husband has had to take over every single other task. Learning how to mow the lawn isn't that hard, especially since Google is a thing. Suck it up as he has for the last 5 months and do the yard work. Don't forget to weed whack, edge and clean up all the clippings. Literally LMAO. I was like, babe, you're getting more done when you get home because your family leaves soon after. No crap, you're getting more done. LOL. Plus, she's taken the liberty of relieving herself of all daytime responsibilities, so that'd clear up some time too. Lady, do you hate your kids or just love the money? I mean, you could pay someone to do the manual labour with all that you're earning, but your kids know you're choosing a schedule that lets you avoid them. Why are you not sleeping first and being awake when your family is at home in the evening? Oh, and I'm making and saving a lot more money. I'm a little worried about this. It's not, we're saving a lot more money. Hopefully it's just wording, but if they have separate finances and hubby has had to take on nearly the full household load so that OP can make herself more money, OP doesn't seem to think of herself as a partner or a parent at all. My sister and her husband have 2 kids. They're both in school. This whole year she's been complaining constantly about how hard it is to be a stay-at-home mom, but she doesn't want to go back to work even though her husband has been pushing her to do so for a while. The issue is that she doesn't do much compared to her husband. He takes the kids to school in the morning. The kids have come home on the bus in the afternoon. She has a whole day with no kids and she can do whatever she wants. Maintaining the house is like 2 hours a day. That leaves her with about 6 or 7 hours of just being there. I was a stay-at-home parent after I lost my old job for a bit. Really, it's not that hard when the kids are in school almost all day. Anyway, she came over yesterday and was ranting. They argued about her picking up more or getting a job. This started because he came home to a dirty house with no groceries in the fridge. I asked why she wasn't doing chores or at least getting food, and she told me she didn't have time. I asked if she got a work job, and it was a no. I asked what she was doing all day, and she gave me no answer. She then ranted about how he wasn't doing enough and that her husband was unfair. At this point, I had enough. I told her she wasn't a martyr for being a stay-at-home mom, that she literally gets everything paid for and can't even afford to buy food. I told her if I was her husband, I'd divorce her since she acts more like a kid than a partner. This started our own argument and she was angry. I personally think she needed to hear it. Not the idiot, I agree with you. Why is she a stay-at-home mom when her kids are at school and she isn't even doing anything at home? If there was a newborn at home, I'd give her slack. At this point, her husband is correct. Get a job or get out, as she isn't bringing anything to the table. But you don't understand. Going back to work means she'll have to do something. She can't account for her time when the kids are in school because then she'd have to admit she does nothing or that she does whatever she wants. Either way, she's not willing to give up that time. She's been enabled too long, it seems, and she wants the only contributing adult to do more. Honestly, it comes down to one of four things: mental health, laziness, selfishness, or an affair. She's got 35 plus hours a week to herself, time she won't account for. Her partner realistically loses nothing by divorcing her.